I'm already on my coffee breaks and I haven't even started yet. Whew. Hey! So I have apparently decided that you guys are ready for a deep dive. We recently went over some basics about runes, like what they are, kinda where people think they came from, and you know, the very basic stuff. So I think that you are prepared. And also, wait. I mean, Oscar has been asking a lot. Oscar wants to know, when is the deep dive coming? So yeah, let's advance a little bit now and talk about something that is called secret runes. This is a good one. So last time we spoke about runes here, I very much concentrated on the aspect of runes being a means of documentation and communication foremost. But some communication is a bit sneakier than others. Communication of the past didn't just end at carving words and phrases and sentences and names, all of that good stuff, right? There's also some hidden messages made with secret runes that has been found on different rune carvings. So these secret runes, they are also called Lönnrunor and Kvistrunor, amongst other things. They are also called runeskiffer sometimes. And how to decipher these runes is what we are going to talk about today. And of course I won't go over like all of the different secret runes there is in the world, because then we would be here for eternity, but I will teach you. So again, very basic stuff, but a little bit more advanced of a subject. I will do my best for you guys to understand it as clearly as I possibly can. Are you ready to look at the teacher paper? My very pedagogical paper here. I've even colored it this time, do you see? You know what's so exciting about this is that you will understand what all of this like weird stuff is by the end of this video. Hopefully. Look at the top row here. So how to decipher the secret runes is that you have to count a little bit. And this I brought up. If you are sitting as a question mark right now, go back to my basic introduction of the runes, because there I bring it up as example of counting during historical times. Because in order to decipher secret runes, you have to count a little bit, okay? Nothing too advanced.
Hello, Editing Moose here. I totally got ahead of myself a little bit and was too excited that I forgot to explain what an Ätt actually is. An Ätt is different sections of a Futhark. There are 3 rune Ätts in a Futhark, and I will talk about them and what they are called further in the video. But then I also have explained exactly what an Ätt is. It is a set of runes divided into 3 families, the Ätts or Ätter, within a Futhark. Now back to video, Moose.
This is the order of the Ätts, and this example is made with Younger Futhark. I think that by showing you the Younger Futhark, it's less runes to keep track of, and it's easier to understand the basics of them then, instead of like overwhelming you guys with the Elder Futhark just because it works the same. The order of the Futhark is actually how you decipher these different Ätts and how you can start your counting with the secret runes. Don't worry, this will make sense very soon. As we already discussed, the Younger Futhark is made out of 16 runes. So here we have the Futhark, right? It starts from here and it goes. As you can see, I have written a bunch of numbers here, a bunch of letters. So this is just a translation to sound values, and these numbers is what we will be counting in our video, and these numbers on top as well. What's surprising is that you actually you start from the back though. So 1 is the blue one here. 1, 2, 3. But this is the beginning of the Futhark. So it is a bit confusing. Why it is in this particular order, I can't tell you. You would have to dig up an old rune master, do some necromancy on him and like ask him about it. I did not make this up, so I can't explain why it is like this. Your guess is as good as mine. Usually when you search for information, at least online, about Ätts, usually they use the Elder Futhark and names that are connected to gods. It is a modern way to keep track of them. We don't know if these were actually like named after gods really, but naming these different Ätts is a very good tool to remember which rune they start on. It is starting with first Ätt is Tyrs Ätt. You see the T, Tyrs Ätt, number 1. Number 2 is usually called Hagalas Ätt, number 2. Hagalas Ätt. And it's because it starts with the H. And again, when we talk about Hagalas, we talk about the Elder Futhark, but since this is Younger Futhark, it is just an H, as you can see here. And then we have the third Ätt, Freyrs Ätt, it's usually called. And this is, I mean, makes sense, it's an F. And personally for me, stuff is so much easier to memorize when I make up like these funny sentences in my head. You can see these are made up of 5 runes, the first and the second. And the third Ätt, it is made up of 6 runes. So like you can make up your own rhymes in order to remember like, oh, which one, like since these have 5 and you know that one has 6, you could easily be like, okay, Frey had 6 toes or something like that, just in order to like, oh, okay, then I know this one is the one with the 6 ones. So if you're ever in a position where you need to count them and you don't have like the knowledge like instantly put out in front of you, I mean, then you can be like, oh, Frey, he was a funny guy. He had 3 boars and 6 toes. Then you know. Third Ätt, 6 runes. And then the other ones become fairly easy to decipher on spot as well. I really think the knowledge should be fun. So like making rhymes up, I mean, the rune poems are poems for a reason. It's easier to remember them like that. Even the oldest laws of Sweden used to be written in rhymes so that people who couldn't read would also remember them. It's like songs, you know, you remember them. Now when we have gone over these ones, right? Then you know, first, second, third. And why I have written the numbers here is because this is the first Ätt. And this is the first rune of the first Ätt. Second, third, fourth, and so on. And the same goes for these guys. My first example actually is, let's see if it can focus, this one. Pretty, right? Looks all kinds of crazy. So this is from a runestone with the number 167 from Södermanland. These last runes that you see on here, it's so easy to spot it on my piece of paper, right? But if you look at the stone, which I will pull up here, these last runes, they're kind of hidden in the mustache or beard of the face on the stone. So anyhow, since you guys are rune experts now, are you listening, Oscar? You're rune experts. We can see that these are normal runes on the stone, right? These we already know from the Younger Futhark. R-E-K-A-N, right? These guys, they are secret runes. They look like little pine trees. And with the help of this tool, I will now show you how to read these runes. So what you will keep in mind now is that here we have one little toot, and here we have one little toot. This is when the counting comes in, right? First Ätt, first rune. Where is the first Ätt? There, right? The blue one. First Ätt, first rune. This is a T. So you know what? We are going to write that out. There we have it. And now we have 3. And then we have this rune. Since we now know that we have 3 Ätts, 3 family of the runes, and we have 6 runes in one of them, this is pretty easy to see which side is the Ätt and which side is the rune counting. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wonder what that could mean. Third Ätt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This little bad boy here is a K. Fantastic, right? Are you getting a hold of it? how it works. At least in this rune carving, how it works. Oh, here we already have a rune. This is just a little thing here. This is how the carving looks, but this is just like, don't pay attention to this too much. Okay. Ah, from this we have learned which side you count the Ätts on, right? Third Ätt, second rune. Go back here. Third Ätt, and 2. Sorry, that was Swedish. 1, 2. We have this. Are you seeing the pattern? Now we've almost gotten the whole 2 words here. Q. Then we have third Ätt, right? Third rune. Third Ätt. 1, 2, 3. Third rune. I accidentally wrote the small t, but it's a th sound. So now we have deciphered what the secret rune says. They say trick, kussan. Whatever could that mean? Trick is actually, it's pronounced dräng, believe it or not. I didn't make up the Old Norse language, so this is dräng. So dräng, kussan. Trick, kussan is a very common expression on rune stones. Trick, kussan. Kussan means good. Someone who is done good, who is good. And trick, which is dräng, dräng kussan, means a good fighter, good warrior, good dräng. Are you hanging in there? Congratulations! We just solved our first secret runes together. So note to self, make sure that the markers are somewhat waterproof. I'll have to watch my hands. The beautiful Rök Runestone of Sweden also has a bunch of different secret runes. I will go through 3 different kinds that can be found on the Rök Runestone with you here now. So let's start off with these secret runes that I will be showing a clip of here as well, so you can see they are on the stone. Again, I have not written all of the secret runes up. I just want to show you how they work. First we count these. I mean, obviously 3, right? And then we count these, 3 again. What does it mean? So this definitely has to do with the third Ätt here. So we will do like this. Third Ätt. Third rune of the third Ätt. 1, 2, 3. So there we have the rune. 1, 2, 3. Again, third Ätt. 1, 2. Second rune in the third Ätt. 1, 2, U. You know what? I have some space left on the paper. Let's write the whole word. This is very much improvised now for you to like see it. But it looks like this. It doesn't look like this, but it's much prettier on the stone, obviously. I just wanted you to put it in a context as well, so we have the full word on here. So again, 1, 2, 3. Third Ätt. Let's make this pink. So again, third Ätt. Let's count these now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5th rune of the third Ätt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. R. So this is why I have the little Mjölnir here. It actually spells out. This is secret runes for Thor, Thor. On here, Tor in Swedish. So the thunder god himself is in these pretty runes. Are you getting a hang of it? Are you I think you understand. You understand the basics of it. You're doing so good. Oscar is also doing very good. He's being very attentive over here. Then also on the Rök Runestone we find this right up here. And on top of the stone, the Rök Runestone is so filled with secret runes, it has them up here. And then it also has them like on top of the stone. It's so cool. If you ever get a chance to go to Sweden, go to Östergötland and the Rök Runestone. You won't be disappointed, it's marvelous. First things first, we are going to decipher this guy here. I want to make something very, very clear. These guys on top of this, that I have filled in with green. You see, none of these Ätts are green. So these are actually short twig runes. I will pull up the short twig runes Futhark up here somewhere. So these are actually like legit runes. They're just short twig runes. So these are not secret at all. So they spell out B. B-E. Where do we even begin with this, right? This is a whole thing here. That we will start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does that tell us? It tells us that this is not an Ätt. This is the rune in an Ätt. Because we only have 1, 2, 3 Ätts. So this is the Ätt. This. So these actually goes more like V. One might think that these are together and these are together, but no. These. And I will clarify by drawing. You kind of need to do this like whole coloring scheme thing, because this is so hard. So, second Ätt, fifth rune. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have an S. Then when we come to the bottom, things become a little bit more difficult, right? Because we have 2 and 3 Ätts to deal with. This is taken out of context, right? There are plenty of these types of runes on the stone. Since this is an example I'm showing you right now, there is a pattern to how these Lönnrunor secret runes work, right? So since this is taken out of context, I understand that this could be confusing, like, oh, how do you know if it's not the third or the second? It is all about context in the end. So, second Ätt, third rune. Second Ätt, 1, 2, 3. E, we have an E. So combined with these Younger Futhark short twig runes, and with deciphering in context, of course, we get this name, CB. And on the Rök Runestone we also find these type of runes. These I will take completely out of context. This is only to show how they work and how you count them. Now when you guys are doing so good and you understand the basics of how to count these secret runes, I mean, it's pretty easy to see here. There's 6 ones here, there's 5 ones here. Up here we must have the Ätts because they never go above 3, right? Second Ätt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rune. Second Ätt, yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have an S. And so it continues. So as long as you have these Ätts down, as long as you remember 3 and Frey together, or like 1 and Tyr together. Tyr had 1 hand, obviously. As long as you remember which rune the Ätts start with, you will be able to figure it out with which rune the different Ätts starts anyway, even if it's Elder Futhark and it has 100 more runes than these. And again, second Ätt, 1, 2, 3, 4 rune. 1, 2, 3, 4, we have an A. Third Ätt, and you remember Frey had 3 boars, and how many toes did he have? He had 6 toes, so we're dealing with a K here. And so it goes. First Ätt, third rune. First, 1, 2, 3, we have an M. And so it goes. You get it? Now when you know the basics of these things, I mean, you can, if you want to be really hardcore, you can go and search for secret runes on the stone 151 in Södermanland that looks like this. These are also wonderful. Such a beautiful stone, I have to say. This stone has a lot of them, right? So now when you know the basics, go ham with it. There are actually many creative examples of these secret runes. So we actually have these ones. So as you can see, these are tiny men with beards. Maybe they were, I think of these as beards, but maybe it looks like women with hair. Whatever, these were found in Norway anyway. Here you can clearly see that, here we have 6 strands of hair or beard. So this side is the Ätt. So third Ätt, first rune. Third Ätt, 6th rune, and so on. These are so cute. They're very cute. I love this. At the end of the video, I will have a picture of these guys here with the different colors and numbers and so on. Now, when you understand the basics of the secret runes, there's a whole new door that opens up to you of rune mastering and rune reading when you learn these basics of the secret runes. They're not that much talked about, I feel like, but it's really cool. And again, like, these are real examples, right? But they are taken out of context. It might work a little differently here and there, and some of them are harder to decipher than others. This is obviously a phrase that has been carved on many runestones around Sweden and Scandinavia. So this is easier to decipher than, for example, like a name, Sibbi. This you have to take in its context of how the other secret runes on this stone is deciphered, right? This is just a very basic explanation to something that is very advanced, right? And I wanted to just give you like a little introduction and also introduce to you that these things exist. Like the secret runes, they are often overlooked, I feel like. This is a topic that is so cool when it comes to ancient language and the runes and ancient society, like these secret runes, the secret messages, who were they made for? So I hope you learned something new. I hope you had a great session here in the MooseLady classroom with me and Oscar. And yeah, you go out and you find those quirky secret runes on runestones now, and you sit down and you take notes and you decipher. And yeah, it's the hardest part about YouTube for me, because us Swedes, we are very awkward with saying goodbye. So yeah, hej då!